Hi, so this is just a brief update. It's not a particularly planned one. It's just to sort of address a couple of concerns people have about downtime in terms of, do we have too much downtime? Obviously, Retribution Paladin has been known for some time being fairly rapid fire class. Is that going to go in Legion? Well, I'm going to compare a few things, show you how it is currently in Legion, and we'll go from there. So I thought I'd first of all have a look right back at the beginning of Warlords of Draenor. This is our first time on Mythic Kargath, and you can see it's every time the global cooldown's off we are using something. It's fairly rapid fire. We don't have this downtime that we have sometimes in the past, and I think this is certainly what people are going to be used to. And if we fast forward to how it is now, then we can see, much the same. Very little downtime. Every now and then, like, maybe once a minute or something, there might be like a second of downtime. Unless it's an enforced one, such as delay in Seraphim or something like that for literally a second or two. We're sort of used to that. But generally speaking, as soon as we've used one ability, it's global cooldown, and then we're using another. If we look at the previous expansion, which is very, very similar, the Retribution Paladin didn't change a great deal between MOP and WOD. We can see it's the same sort of thing. It's a little bit slower, actually. I think it was a little bit slow at the start of MOP. But nonetheless, that was usually related to the global cooldown and trying to reduce that down, even with larger base amounts of haste. But the playstyle was much the same. Whenever we were able to use an ability, we had an ability off cooldown. And this remained the same at the end. It's just that we had shorter global cooldown, so we were able to fire it off a bit more rapidly. Now, if we fast forward to now, we do have a certain amount of downtime. Usually this is caused by, in a single target situation, the Judgment debuff. It might well be that we have 5 Holy Power, but the Judgment debuff has not quite come down. So we're just going to wait a second for it, because obviously our finishers do a lot more damage. How much more depends on our mastery, but still a lot more damage if that Judgment debuff is on our target. So obviously we're going to wait for that. Also, sometimes you can see on a tough mob like this, I'm often using Justicar's Vengeance so that I can heal myself up. Also, if the mob is stunned, it does more damage per Holy Power than Templar's Verdict as well. So sometimes this creates an extra delay, because what I'm doing is the Judgment might well be available, but I'm still waiting another second for Crusader Strikes. So sometimes there's a bit of a downtime there. But you can see it's not a massive amount of downtime. Now, it is possible that it could be slightly more, say, if you're using Divine Hammers, which I haven't made a great deal of use of just yet, because that generates 1 Holy Power to the 2 of Blade of Justice. But again, it's early days. I mean, I dinged level 110 with 11% haste. Of course, it might well be that as the expansion goes on, we get a lot more haste. We might not. I mean, when it comes to Warlords of Draenor, for example, I have had about 5% haste for most of it. I've now gone up to just over 11 myself. I've not had very much haste because I've not really favoured it in this expansion, because we've been quite fast anyway. Now, in Legion, it might well be that you prefer a playstyle that does favour haste. It might well be that we have a sensible choice on which secondary to favour based upon our preferred playstyle. But I would say when not taking Divine Hammers, certainly, I really don't see that there is a great delay in downtime, especially if you make a beeline for the Ashes to Ashes trait on the Ashbringer, and it is easily the quickest one to get, because this is the one that means that your Wake of Ashes, which is the special ability, the cone ability we get on our Ashbringer, generates 5 Holy Power if it does some damage to something. Obviously, this gives us every half a minute free access to 5 more Holy Power, so it can be a case if we've got our Holy Power saved up, Judgment, spend that quickly, a couple of quick Templar's Verdicts, and then fire off the Wake of Ashes and get another sneaky one in as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't see that there's a huge problem with downtime. You can see on the footage here, this is me just soloing, of course, but I'm not waiting around for a great deal of time on anything. I am waiting now and then, And if that is a big problem for people, okay, you might find yourself with a problem, because there are times when I'm waiting. But if we're honest, in Warlords of Draenor, if you use Seraphim, there are times when you're waiting. If you're not using Seraphim, sometimes you wait, don't you? Because if you're using Final Verdict and you've got a Divine Storm ready to brew, and you've got ads coming in, you delay those anyway. So there are some times when we delay. It's just that usually that delay is not caused by our DPS rotation, so to speak. It's caused by events around us. But does it really make much difference what is causing the delay? That's all it is. And it's not a particularly large one. So if you found that useful, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. In particular, if you've still got follow-up questions, don't forget to comment down there and I'll either address them here and now, or if it looks like there's similar ones, I'll do a follow-up as well, follow-up Q&A, as I said in the last video as well. And until next time, I'll see you later.